Welcome to the 13th Sports Jam. I am Eric Yutzy. Big week for the Pacers front office. A lot could be decided this week. Kind enough to join us to talk about it is Pacers General Manager David Morway. David, thanks for coming in on a Sunday night.
Oh, you're welcome.
Also,
Glad to be here.
Also here, Rich Nye. Rich covered the Pacers throughout the playoffs, so a lot of unique insight here. David, let's start right away. Pacers owner Herb Simon is set to meet with Larry Bird this week. A lot will be decided, especially about the future of the front office. What's your take on what could happen this week? Are you anxious about it?
Well, we certainly want to get it resolved, and I think it's important for the franchise for us to move forward. Certainly hopeful that Larry has the opportunity to stay and it works out, but at the same time I think Larry's got to do what's best for him in his life and make a decision that's going to work for him long term.
That boils down to you as well, though, does it not?
Oh, it could potentially. You know, it'll be interesting to see. I can tell you that I love this franchise and the city, and after 12 years here, my wife and I, my boys have become Hoosiers, so we certainly want to stay, and we're hopeful that if Larry decided to leave, that I would have the opportunity to run the franchise from the basketball side of it. It's something that would be a dream come true for me, but you know, we'll have to see. I think the team has to, it's important that the franchise does their due diligence and make sure that they're making a wise decision at this point in the progress of the franchise.
And that's something that Larry Bird talked about early last week.
The big question of mine to him is, now we have the money, are we going to be able to spend it? You know, we waited 3 years and to get to this point now, what can we do? What are you going to let us do? So there's a lot of questions going to be asked, and I want to see what direction he wants to go.
I talked with Pacers owner Herb Simon late last week, and he expressed that he would like for Larry to come back. He was a little disappointed that Larry was wondering whether Herb would allow them to spend money this summer, because he said, I've always been willing to spend money up to the luxury tax threshold. But David, as you look at this situation, how good are you guys set up for this summer?
Well, we're certainly in a terrific position. We have the second most cap room in the league. And when Larry and I have talked about this, we've talked about it more than free agency. We've talked about just having the cap flexibility to make moves, whether it be through trade or free agency, or if there are changes in the collective bargaining agreement that'll be able to help this franchise. So, you know, in our world today, it's critically important to have cap flexibility, and it's taken us 3 years to get there. We've had to be very patient and disciplined. And we've gone through a lot of tough times to get there, and I know that I don't know the conversations that Mr. Simon and Larry are having, but I certainly know that Mr. Simon wants to win and Larry wants to win, and I think we're going to try to do everything we can to continue to develop this team and take it to another level. We expect to, challenge for a championship in the next couple of years.
When you put the right pieces together on a roster, you obviously need a strong head. Frank Vogel came in, took the team to the playoffs. What was your impression of how he finished the season at the helm?
Frank did a terrific job. He really did. I was really proud of him. It was a very difficult situation to take over. From day one, he made the changes that he believed in, that would work for this team. And he, more than anything else, he was able to really communicate with everybody on this team, not only the young players, but every player on the team. He helped us grow, and you all saw it. I mean, we grew on a day-to-day basis before our eyes. So I think he did a terrific job. He's an excellent young coach, and he's got a great future in our league.
We got plenty more to talk about with David Morway. He's kind enough to join us as we look ahead to the future of the Indiana Pacers. Free agency obviously is looming, as it does every single summer. We talked a little bit about the money and the flexibility. Well, they have an opportunity or an interest in signing some of their own key free agents, like Josh McRoberts. A lot of guys are on the free agent market. Homegrown NBA star Eric Gordon will join us later in studio tonight. Gordon back in town to talk about another strong year, his third with the Los Angeles Clippers. And Bill Polian, his picks in this year's NFL draft. We go one-on-one with Bill. The Colts president explains how the team improved the roster over the weekend. Welcome back to the 13th Sports Jam. We're having a great conversation with Pacers General Manager David Morway. We left and we told you we'd talk about rookie Lance Stevenson, and especially as it pertained to some of the leadership issues that this team faces. Lance, Unfortunately, he's a very good player. That's not the unfortunate part, but he's made a lot of headlines more off the court than on. But team president Larry Bird backs Lance Stephenson to the fullest.
One thing we don't have in there is a leader. If you have a leader, if I played with Lance, I would have no problem. I know Lance Stephenson can play basketball, and I would do everything in my power to get him on the court. Because if he's on the court and he's one of our better players, he wins games for us. I also know that Lance is very immature. I expect him to grow. I expect him to get better. And I expect him to do the things necessary to get on the basketball court for us. And if he does that, we're going to win basketball games. He's one of the most talented kids we have.
Larry adamant about the talent that Lance has. Is it just a matter of allowing him to grow up?
Yes, I think that's some of it. I mean, you know, we drafted Lance at 19 years old. And frankly, if Lance hadn't had some of the off-the-court issues that he'd had, he would have been a top 10 pick. He's an incredibly talented young man. We did a lot of research about Lance, background checks. We did all kinds of homework prior to drafting him. And, you know, at the end of the day, I think most of the problems that Lance has had, and some of them that he had this year, were just some immaturity issues. And we, you know, Larry and I feel strongly that if we're going to try to provide him with all the support system that we can and help him, and we've told him he needs to come halfway. And if he can do that, and we've seen strides this year, we've seen him grow, that if we can see that he's got a chance to get on the court and really help us. I mean, we just talked a little bit, Rich, about having a guy who can create his own shot.
Right.
He's a guy that can really do that. He's got terrific court vision. He's got great size. He's got a chance to be a special basketball player, but he does have to grow in terms of his level of maturity, both on and off the basketball court.
Well, it's an awful big week. A lot could change this week. If Larry Bird decides he doesn't want to continue in this position, this is something that you're interested in. You've been in with this organization for a long time, David.
Yeah, I've been here 12 years, and I've had the good fortune of mentoring under two pretty amazing guys, and Donnie Walsh and Larry Bird. When I got the opportunity to come to Indiana, I guess I never thought I'd be as fortunate as I've been. And you know, in my mind, I hope I get this opportunity. I've worked very hard over the last 12 years. I feel like I've got a great sense for this community and what their expectations are for this franchise and for our basketball team. It would be a dream come true to have the opportunity to do it.
And not only that, but helping shepherd a team who obviously seems to have turned the corner after a 5-year absence from the playoffs. You guys seem like you've got this team headed in the right direction, David.
Well, yeah, no question about it. I mean, we knew when we started it was going to be a tough process because we were going to be very disciplined and really careful in the approach so that we would have the kind of cap flexibility that we have right now. And and it's been tough, so there's no question that we have a great future. We've got 7 or 8 very good young players that have a chance to really form a terrific core. We've got a young man over in Europe in Stanko Baric who's 7'2" and is the best center outside the NBA in the world playing over in Europe. We've got all kinds of flexibility to add more players. So it certainly would be a terrific position to be in to be able to take this franchise to the next level if Larry ever left.
And those decisions begin to be made this week. David Morway, thanks so much for coming in with us tonight.
Thank you. I really enjoyed it.
Thanks, David. Appreciate it.
Thank you.